Welcome back to Gardener's Cottage, and we're in the vegetable garden today. We're just doing a little bit of tidying up. I thought I'd give you a little tour of the vegetable garden at the end of October. So this border here is the asparagus border. We planted it a couple of years ago and it's looking really good. We haven't had a crop of asparagus from it yet. You have to leave asparagus for a couple of years to establish before you can take a harvest. But we're hopeful maybe next year we might get some spears of asparagus. Next to the asparagus we had a border of irises, and we did actually take a flower crop off these. After they'd finished flowering, we moved them all into a dedicated asparagus border, but these three must have got left behind, so I'll need to move those this autumn. Over here we've got a row of gladioli. They've finished flowering now. Again, I cut a crop of flowers for the house, but they have got a little, I think I need to move them this year because they are crowding the asparagus a little bit. I've also got some chrysanthemums here which were planted for cut flowers for the house, and again they're a little overcrowded here, so I'm probably going to move them into a new border next spring. We've got a lovely crop of horseradish here. This is doing ever so well in this position. To harvest horseradish you just dig it up when you want it. So if you dig it up, you get the root, and the root is what you eat. You don't eat the leaves. Let me know if there's anything you can do with the leaves, but we've never eaten the leaves. But the horseradish is like a sort of tuber, and it's absolutely delicious if you make it into horseradish sauce. We make a homemade horseradish sauce using horseradish and creme fraiche, and it goes really well with roast beef. So I love having homegrown horseradish. And the next border here is the raspberries. We had a really good crop of autumn raspberries this year. These were moved from another part of the garden in the spring. So the crop, or maybe in the previous year, the crop's been quite small, but the rows are starting to establish. So they weren't moved at an ideal time. So we haven't had a brilliant crop this year, but we're aiming to thicken them up this year. And there's another row of them here. As you can see, the raspberries are pretty much over now. I've just got a few late ones here. So we'll probably get one more tiny little portion of autumn raspberries, but we've been self-sufficient in raspberries this year for the first time, which has been really good. And I think it's having them in this dedicated border has meant we've had a much better crop. We've harvested all our squashes now. Had a massive harvest of butternut squash. These are we're not sure what these are. I think this is a crossbreed squash. And I don't think we're going to eat those. I don't know, we might try, see if they make a decent soup, but I think I'm just going to take those into the house and just have them as sort of an ornamental squash. I've harvested all the really cute little squashes which are ornamental, but I'm not sure what to do with those. We had a massive butternut squash plant that had taken over the other end of the vegetable garden. We've now taken it out and we've got about 80 butternut squash off it. It's been an incredible harvest of 3 plants, so really worth growing butternut squash. This is the first year we've grown it and it's been a fantastic harvest. The globe artichokes were moved a couple of years ago and they've settled in here really well. We've given them a tidy up now for autumn, and we had a good crop off them. Although we didn't end up eating that many of them. I think a lot of them ended up just flowering. But we've got 1, 2, I think we might have a self-seeded one there actually. 3, 4, 5 plants. I think there is another one in there. But what's happened is some horseradish has got in there too, so I'm going to need to move the horseradish. Otherwise I don't think we'll get much off the globe artichoke next year. So going around to this border's in the process of being tidied up. There's some perennial rocket plants in here, which will give us some rocket going through winter. In fact, this one needs to be bedded back in. It's come up, hasn't it? So this is just a self-seeded border of perennial rocket that we grow each year. I think it's a perennial one. I don't think it's the annual one, but it does set seed, and you can see the seeds here. And these are the seeds for next year. So we'll probably just leave that in. Oh, I need to take the bedding out now. We had some calendulas in here, but they've finished now. They set seed, so hopefully we'll get some next year. And I've got chives here, which again need a bit of a tidy up. We're just leaving the runner beans on now to set seed, so we can harvest these seeds to sow next year. And as you can see, there are some down here which are starting to dry out. So if you've got runner beans, you can collect your own seeds if you want to. We do every year, and they come up very reliably. So we've had a good harvest off this runner bean wigwam, but now we're just letting them form seeds for next year. Got more perennial rocket in here and some more Swiss chard over here. This is a bit of a disaster, this border. And it is still early, but I think this is a leek crop. This is a leek crop, but they haven't done very well, but it is still fairly early. We don't normally harvest leeks until well into sort of January, or certainly into the depths of winter. If I weed these, they may still grow, but I think they just became overwhelmed by weed and self-seeded. I think this is another Swiss chard. It could be a beetroot, I'm not sure. I think it's just self-seeded. Incredibly, we've had quite a lot of these things self-seed. They've self-seeded in the past, but they're so beautiful. Is it a ruby chard? And they're so good for salad leaves, so we're just leaving them for now and harvesting them. We've transplanted some of them into the polytunnel so we get some winter harvest. And we've got more of them here. Our soil seems to be very good for growing these, and they're absolutely beautiful. It's similar to spinach. You can eat it similar to spinach, or you can eat the baby leaves as a salad. But you can see there's quite a lot of weed in here. And we've also got some beetroot that we didn't get around to harvesting, so we can use that for salad leaves. And again, more calendulas. The calendulas now have set seed, so I just need to spread the seeds around so I get calendulas coming up all around the vegetable garden. I'm going to put some seed down here. I might put it down the edges of the borders actually, because it'd be nice instead of weeds to have calendulas. And the compost heaps are looking really full. Mike assures me they will go down, but at the moment we can't actually get anything else on the compost heaps. I wanted to show you this. This is just, it does need weeding. This was our salad cage earlier in the year, and then some of it must have set seed, and we've got self-seeded lettuce and rocket in here. So we're just going to have to hand weed this to get the weed out, and then we can harvest baby salad leaves for a little bit longer until we get the first frosts. Probably once they get frosted, I think that'll be it. We won't get any more out of there. I wanted to show our haricot beans harvest. We've done really well with haricot beans this year. We ate them as a bean earlier in the year, and then Mike's let them dry out, set seed, and now we're going to harvest the beans, and we're making homemade baked beans with no added sugar, no artificial sweetener, and just made with a sort of tomato and basil sauce, and they make the most fabulous homemade beans. We're even using our homegrown tomatoes and homegrown herbs. It's absolutely delicious. Not everything has been a success this year. This is these are the vejigas with the strawberry plants in. The strawberry plants have grown really well, but I think we planted them too close together, and unfortunately we didn't get a particularly good strawberry crop. So we're having a change of plan this year. We're going to move the strawberry plants out of the vejigas, and we're going to put some fresh soil in, and we're going to try these growing carrots in these next year, I think. And we might grow potatoes in one of them and carrots in the other, because I think the high sides might deter the carrot root fly. Let me know if you've got any good tips for growing carrots without getting carrot root fly. But because this has got a big side on it, I think it could be ideal. So I'm excited about that for next year. We've just got to move all these strawberry plants. What we found is if we grow the strawberry plants in hanging baskets in the polytunnel, we can keep the wildlife from eating them. And we got a really good strawberry crop this year, the best one we've had since we've lived here, and we've been here for 12 years, so it's pretty good. Anyway, that's everything for now. I could just pop into the polytunnel. Would you like to come into the polytunnel with me? Just bear with me. So I'm just taking you through into the polytunnel. I've got a geranium here that's been outside the polytunnel, but it needs to go back to the house now because the weather's getting a little on the chilly side. Let's just get in here. And we're going through the polytunnel. Here are some of the strawberry plants that I was telling you about that were in the polytunnel, but we've now come out because they were getting a little dry in there. We do have over summer, we have an irrigation system. But then Mike had switched it off because obviously the weather has become much milder, cooler rather, so they didn't need as much watering, but it has meant the strawberry plants have been drying out. Oh, this is sticking a bit with all the rain. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get in. Might have to pause. There we go, we're in. Okay, so I've just brought you in to see the polytunnel. So Mike started to take the tomato plants out, and he started to plant salad crops into the polytunnel, so that hopefully we'll get some winter salad. It's much warmer in here than it is outside. We're harvesting the last of the tomatoes off the vines, and he's gradually, because we're not being able to keep on top of all of them, so some of them have rotted. I think what we've learnt this year is not to plant the tomato plants as close together, because it does make harvesting very difficult. Mike planted some aubergines, but unfortunately they went in a little too late, so we haven't got we've had a couple of aubergines off them, but not an awful lot. So now we're just focusing this month on gradually taking the tomato plants out of the polytunnel that have finished flowering and planting some other things in here. Here are the baskets that had the strawberry plants in. They're on the floor at the moment, so we remember to water them. But over summer, when the irrigation system was running, they were up here, and that worked really well. We got a really good harvest from them. And in fact, I think if we'd remembered to keep watering them, we'd probably have a few more coming on. Mike's grown some fresh chilies this year. Just zoom in. So when we've made fresh tomato soup with our excess tomato crop, and Mike's added a fresh chili to each one. But you can see at this time of year, there is a lot to do in the polytunnel, mainly tidying up. There are still some flowers coming on the tomatoes, but at this time of year it's very unlikely they'll set any fruit. So what we need to do now is just harvest the last of the tomatoes and get these tomato plants out before they start to collapse and fall onto the other things. And I think as we do that, we're gradually planting it up with some autumn crops and winter crops. Anyway, thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this quick tour of the vegetable garden and the polytunnel. If you have any questions or you have any tips that you'd like to share with us, because this is our first year of polytunnel gardening, please let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. If you've got any suggestions for things we could grow over winter in our polytunnel, that would be wonderful as well. Anyway, bye for now.